All right. Bear with me just a moment here so I can get everything set up. Just want to make sure everything is working fine, and then we'll get right into the show. Side joke. All right. So I had to I wasn't planning on doing this show this early. However, I did have to start over because I was so rudely may I say interrupted on my last stream, okay, by a so-called follower of Christ, right, coming on the show using profanity, which is ridiculous in and of itself. But that's, hey, fair enough. That's all right. Hey, the show must go on. Anyway, um, I just had to restart the show because somebody came on here using profanity. And you know how YouTube is, man. You gotta watch what you use on the stream, right? So, since a damn devil demon, right, a damn coon, came on here, to act like he knows shit, you know. So I had to restart the show because of that, and that's all right. That's cool. Um, but hey, we'll get right into the show. And I just want to address a comment real quick. Somebody said, which you got it right here, says this is from I Love Maps, and they said seminary school, which actually, brother, I mistitled the video on purpose to say cemetery school. Okay, theological cemetery school. Okay, I know it's actually spelled seminary, but I spelled it cemetery on purpose. Okay, but that joke went over your head because that joke isn't for you. Anyway, which that's pretty much a joke between I myself and the mind of God, right? And Great Millstone. Um, anyway, man, I mean, there's so many aspects that we could, come at the seminary school, versus the Bible. Okay, and I'm going to give an example. And that is say for an example, I'll give the cemetery school, right? The seminary school. I'll give them credit when it comes to, may I say, subjects such as the right, certain types of history with the scriptures. Okay, I'll give them that. Okay, I'll give them that. Okay, when it comes to scriptures, they know a lot regarding the history. Okay, so I will give them credit where it's due, and that's in what is that, Romans the 13th chapter, right? Give credit to who credit is due. Right. So I'll give them credit for that. They'll teach you a lot of history regarding the text, which is correct. But there's a flip side. When you deal with topics such as the gospel, right? That's where they go off. Okay, because their whole message is what? That Jesus Christ, came and went up on the cross for for anybody, right? And we all know the spiel, inside joke. We already know, all of the stuff that they use to support these teachings, right? The famous verse, which is what, John 3:16, which is what? It says what? For God so loved the whole world that he, or I should say the world, that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him, they should not perish, but they will have everlasting life. Right. And that's part of the spiel. And they'll use that to say, well, see, it says the world. So that means it means anybody. And that's not true. It meant was the world as referring to the nation of Israel. And that can easily be proven. Okay, because if you go to what is that, John chapter 17 and verse 9, it says what? Christ said, I pray for them that you have given me out of the world, but I pray not for the world. Right? I pray not for the world, is what Christ said. Okay, so all these cats out here, that are teaching that, BS that they learned in the Christian church, man, or at these cemetery schools, these cats are clearly going off, man. Okay, all these cats, are clearly delusional. Okay, they think they're smart because they went to church on Sunday, right? So they think they know something, and that's what the majority of the people done, right? Is they went to, um, these churches, for let's say 10, 15, 20 years, and they learned, the spiel that the, Christian pastors, teach them on Sunday or Saturday or wherever the day is that they end up, going to learn at these so-called churches, which are really harlot houses, is what they are. Okay, because first of all, the Lord is not in the church, right? The Lord's not dealing with the church, and one proof of that is you go to what is that? Acts the 7th chapter, right? Acts the 7th chapter says what? For the Lord does not dwell in temples who are built with hands. And then there's another one. It gives a second reiteration, for lack of better words, in what is that? Acts the 17th chapter. It says what? For the Lord does not dwell in temples which are built by hands. Right. So now we understand that the Lord isn't dealing with the church, right? The Lord is not dwelling in the church. Okay, the church just represents I should say the true church just represents, wherever we are, right? Wherever we go is the true representation of the church, right? The body of Yahushua, right? Or the body of Christ. It just represents wherever we go. Okay, wherever we, teach on the highways and byways, or whether we teach by way of YouTube or by way of whatever platform we use, which yeah, you can teach in the building, right? There's nothing necessarily wrong with doing that. But the thing that's wrong is saying that, well, in order to, worship the Lord properly, you have to be in a church building or any type of building in general. That's going off. Okay, that part's going off. Okay, but if you want to teach in a church building, then you can do that. But to tell somebody that that the only way they can really, praise the Lord is by going to one of these, schools. And that's the part that's going off. All right, that's the part that everybody is going off on, man. Okay, and let me see real quick. As I said, man, which we're gonna bring some people on here, right? We're gonna bring some people on. We'll probably go for a 2-hour show tonight. So hey, it's gonna get juicy for those who are watching after the show, and probably 20 minutes here, we're gonna get some people on. All right, so that's gonna be juicy. But for right now, ETT is just giving his spiel, which spiel is not necessarily a bad thing. There is good spiel and there is bad spiel. I'll say that again. There is good spiel and there is bad spiel. It just depends on the message. Okay, it's very simple. Just like I'll give an example. There is a difference between being smart and being intelligent. And that comes from what's that cat? Right, Brother Polite. Right, Brother Polite was the one who came up with that. There's a difference between being smart and being intelligent. Being smart means you're able to reiterate or regurgitate what you are told by somebody else. But being intelligent is being able to prove on your own why your belief on whatever subject the discussion might be, why your belief is true. Okay, not being able to reiterate what somebody else told you. Okay, that's called being smart. But being intelligent is being able to, on your own, being able to prove why your belief is true without using something that somebody else gave you to prove it, for lack of better words. Okay, so again, I'll give the statement again. There is good spiel and there is bad spiel. It just depends. And how do we measure what the good spiel is and what the bad spiel is? Well, that's why you have the scriptures, right? Which is what? The measuring stick. Let me just bear with me a moment. I just want to go check something real quick. Dang. All right, should be good. Right, but going back to the whole seminary schools, man, the cemetery schools, as Elder Apostle Hart calls them, man. All they're teaching you in that is a bunch of bullshit, man. Bear with me a moment. All right, we got Mind of God on here. Hey, Mind of God, how you doing, man?
Hey, ETT, good evening, man.
And good evening, man. Good evening. I had to restart the show, man, just because of that coon decided to join on and use profanity on here, even though when I clearly asked him not to do that, man. But it just shows you, man,
Yeah.
that these cats out here, man. Hey, the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is gonna slice some heads when he comes back, man. That's all I'm gonna say. The Lord is sick and tired of these peons on here, man.
Well, he's going to destroy a lot of people. We don't want to be a part of that. So, for sure. I think you and I both know that. Yes.
Right. Absolutely, man. So anyway, man, how was your day going? What have you been doing?
It's good, man. I heard that part. And I think just in general, because, we don't have to talk about people specifically. And I think this topic is important. These cemetery schools. The thing that's amazing, man, I was driving here just kind of, looking at these churches, right, while I was driving on my way home. It's crazy, dude, because a couple verses, I'm not even talking about like many verses, you can debunk the whole Christian church in like 30 seconds. That's what's amazing about the times that we live in right now. So, for people out there, man, like it's time to get with the program because you gotta choose a side, all of us, because either the Bible's obviously true or obviously false. I'll pass it back to you.
Right, absolutely, man. And hey, going on that subject for a few minutes, hey, we're coming to the time now where we're really gonna figure out for real, whether we actually do believe in this thing or not. Say for an example, when this thing, when we can't go and buy stuff at the store without going along with
Right.
the program, for lack of better words, we're really going to find out, because anybody can say they believe in something, but then when it comes down to to actual tests to see if they really do believe in it or not, then that's where a lot of people are going to fold. Because say for
Yeah.
an example, and everywhere you go, you hear people having conversations about this thing, and everybody, for the most part, is actually relatively smart. Like the one cat that when I was at the Dollar Tree, they were having a discussion, and they were like, "Are you gonna do this?" And the guy was like, "Hell to the no."
Hmm. Yeah.
But everybody can sit there and say something, but at the end of the day, when your personal safety is on the line, right? When your
Right.
personal life is being threatened, then that's where we're really going to find out who was actually sincere with their statement or who was just saying that for the sake of saying it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And those hunger pains kick in, you know what I mean? And that's real. So those are real pains, when you're hungry or you're scared or all that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Say
yeah.
for an example, a lot of people throughout history, even when, say for example, during 70 AD, right? Some of those people had to resort to cannibalism, right? Now, those people prior to that, they never would have thought in their life about eating another human being.
Yeah.
However, given the circumstances that they were then put into, they had to make a tough decision and they decided to go along with it because on the flip side, it was, hey, you either do this or you starve to death. Anyway, man, I'll let you go ahead and respond.
Yeah, I think that for people, this is just amazing, man. Like the times that we live in, it's incredible where the Bible is going to display its truth or its falsehood on the order of days. You can argue how many days, we don't know exactly, but I don't think anybody would argue that it's on the order of days. It's not years or decades. Maybe you could say year, but it's not like decades or anything like that. So that's exciting for me personally.
As I said, we're in a time now where we're going to figure out that I think we're going to figure this thing out within the next couple of months, if not a year. And that's not a long time.
Yeah,
That's only
exactly.
a handful of months right there. But the point of the matter, man, is a lot of these cats out here, especially these people following, these Christians, man. And I saw that video you put up yesterday dealing with the whole wax thing. I'll say that one time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but hey, man, that's what they're doing, and I saw many other videos like that saying, "Oh no, you can. Hey, it's okay. You can do this. It doesn't have anything to do with that." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, dude. I had to videotape that because I was laughing when I saw it first. I literally couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, really, man? Then she posted that a month ago, so we're late in the game, man. If she would have posted that prior to this narrative, I'd be like, yeah, I know, maybe, you could say you don't know or don't worry or whatever, but that's crazy, dude. How deep the deception is. How about that? That's what it is, man. All these
Right,
buildings.
right,
Think about
absolutely. Go
all
ahead.
these churches, all these cemetery schools. Just think about how many buildings there are, just from an infrastructure perspective in the United States, which is Mystery Babylon. How many buildings make up? How many churches, whether they're Protestant, Catholic, or somewhere in between, or New Age, and then how many seminary schools are there? What percentage of the economy is that? It's not like 0.5%. It's probably like 5 to 10%, maybe.
Like I'll tell you this real quick, man. In the area, I on 2 blocks, there's 5 different churches there, and I'm not even being sarcastic. There's literally on 2 blocks, there's 5 different church houses here.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy,
And think about it.
what's
Everyday
going
average
on
people
there.
like us could go and debunk them in a minute or two. That's
Absolutely.
that's amazing. Like, and we're not saying that to brag, but think about how unstable the world is then if all those people we know are liars.
Right, right. But and what's funny, man, because as I was right, right, absolutely. And as I was saying, man, is that in a discussion, say for an example, if I, right, ETT or Mind of God was to have a discussion with a one of these scholars, man, they'll for lack of better words, they'll get their ass handed to them. They'll get cut 6 ways to Sunday in a discussion with one of us.
You know what they'll do is they'll avoid us once they find out. They and I would say for people out there, avoiding is a compliment. Literally take it as a compliment. We don't get offended when people come here and say we're stupid and then they leave. I don't. Me personally, I'm feeling
Oh
ETT
yeah,
doesn't care either. I don't
absolutely.
care, dude. I take that as a compliment because either they come here and then we read a few verses and then they scratch their head and they play dumb basically, and that's a waste of both of our time, or they go away and then we realize we're on to something.
Right, and that's even in I believe that's in Matthew. It spoke about what? It says, "Blessed are you when men shall speak all manners of evil against you for my sake." Right, and that's what they're doing because it's not. You see, it's not us that's saying what we're saying. We're saying what we're saying because this is what Yahushai says. This is what the scriptures say, right? So we're teaching what the text says. That's why a lot of these Christians who, they don't take it seriously, they don't
Yeah.
take the text seriously. You get a lot of these guys like our good friend, good servant, when they're given an opportunity to discuss why they see something differently, they just, back off and say, "Well, I believe in the Bible 100%, and you guys are some type of like Satanists."
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I got a good verse for you from Proverbs 28:1. The wicked flee when no one pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. That's a good one.
Right. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. And and that's why we're not afraid to go into controversial, doctrines in the scriptures, man. You know why? Because we teach how it is, man. We keep it real. Matter of fact, he had somebody before. I don't know if you ever saw him, but there was this guy a few years ago. He called his channel "Keeping It 100." Right. So we're keeping it 100. Right. We're keeping it real with the people. But you see, the problem is instead of hearing the truth, everybody wants that feel good message, and that's what the church is out there telling our people. What
Yeah.
that oh, if you're down and in poverty, then that means that you're probably in sin because if you get closer to the Lord, you're going to be doing better financially.
Right. 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 yeah, it's offensive to this world when we tell them, hey, we don't have much money and we don't care. We want to be with God. We talk openly about money and how it's, necessary but not important. And we don't have any really strings attached to this world. People get angry. They come here and say that, oh, you're Satan, you're out of your mind, and you're a psychopath, So I don't know what to say. I mean, I have I have a pretty good sense of humor. I don't have as many lines as you do because you got the zingers, but I just for people, I mean, just how just we're not proud of it, but it's a pursuit of the truth. Okay. And if that offends other people, then that offends other people. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. So just keep
Right,
keep
right.
going.
And you see, yeah, yeah, and that's the difference between us here, hey, mind of God, and ETT, hey, we're giving it the way it is, just like what's that guy, the Atlantis report, just as he says, right? The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? That's what we're giving to people. We're giving to people the truth of what the text says. We're not giving that feel good doctrine. You know what? We'll tell you what. Hey, before you consider coming into this thing, you better triple think. Okay, because the scriptures say what? If you come to serve the Lord, hey, you better prepare your soul for temptation. And that's what we're out here telling the people. We're not telling these people, things to make them feel good, to get us a big super chat, just like Sakari's out there doing.
Right, right. And that would be evil because then it's not helping them prepare. It's just if it could get better, I think you and I would look at the future and be like, yeah, okay, if these things happen, maybe God could remove his curse, like Nineveh, for example. But we don't see that anywhere. You know what I mean? And I don't want to speak for you, but I've sort of tried to think about that. Hey, maybe if we get the flat Earth out there and work with the flat Earthers, maybe we could win some people over to the truth. But I realize that we can't, man. The truth community is run by the government fundamentally. But
Right, right. And
so
as far Yeah, sorry to cut you
that's
off,
it.
man, but
That's it.
as far as what we were saying about the curses that we're under, according to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, I always bring this up. If you go to Revelation, I believe it's the 21st chapter, it says what? That then there shall be no more curse. Right. So hold on a second. It's saying when the kingdom is established, when Christ is ruling on the earth, and then there will be no more curse. So by logic, that means that there has to be a curse today
Right.
because Christ didn't return yet. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
That cuts preterism too, by the way. I can't believe that guy had the nerve to ask a question like that. I don't want to discourage him from ever joining the live stream, but people who believe in preterism this late in the day, this late in the game, that's crazy to me, man.
Yeah, yeah, and as I said, man, I really want to have a discussion with him because I generally want to ask him a couple questions that I really am interested to see what they believe. Like, did you ever watch the discussion that Sakari did with Pastor William Bell?
No, I didn't. Can I read a quick verse,
Hey,
ET, in line with this? What we were just talking about, and
yeah,
I'll give
go
it back
ahead,
to you.
man. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 51:9. We would have healed Babylon, but she cannot be healed. Let me read that in the King James, actually, if you don't mind. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So
Right, right, absolutely,
it's
absolutely,
written.
and that's a great verse. So you see, we're, just as it says, I believe, what is that? Matthew the 6th chapter, it speaks about what? Storing up treasures for yourself in heaven, and that's what we're doing. Me and mine of God, we're not trying to make ourselves, rich on this side, which I would say, of course, mine of God's doing better off than I am. But anyway, inside joke.
I live pretty
But we're
good.
not.
I live pretty good.
ETT. Hey, somebody asked ETT how he's doing. He's like, I'm surviving. Inside joke.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, dude. But I'm at Matthew 6 if you want me to read some of it.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, man, if you got that.
Let me see. This is the treasure in heaven, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, verse 20. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And so, what does this mean? Well, we can't go to heaven, right? Unless
That
we're
might
unless
make it
there's
better. But hey, that's Satan for you, right? They're messing with the stream, right? Because they don't want our message getting out there. And it's funny because when you watch certain cats like TD Jakes, right, or Creflo Dollar, or any of these other pastors that use this platform to teach on, they don't go any through any type of difficulty like this with their audio cutting out or whatnot. Anyway, man, are you back on?
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me, TT?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay.
If you can you read that verse again? Because we didn't get to hear it.
Okay, yeah, Matthew 6:20. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. This gives people also a sense of what heaven's like. No one is up in the spirit world. This also is actually an indirect cut towards hell, not being up in the quote heavens. Okay, no one's like uh decaying or breaking in and stealing, you know what I mean, and so that's an indirect cut to the hell doctrine. But um verse 21,
Which, hey,
for where your treasure
go
is,
go
there
ahead.
your heart will be also. That's it.
Right, right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Which, hey, man, why we're on, the whole subject of bringing these false teachers down, man. We got to deal with that whole hell thing. We gotta dice that up, cut that six ways to Sunday,
That's my
man. Because you
favorite
got a
topic.
lot of our,
That's my
yeah,
favorite
yeah. That's
topic.
one of
Yeah.
my personal favorites, man. What would you? I'll let you have the mic for a minute, man. How would you disprove a Christian that tells you that there's a place called hell that's underneath us right now? Oh, and also, we have our brother Orange Gorilla 33 in the comment section. Hey, Orange Gorilla, man, if you want to come on, there's a fresh link in the chat. Go ahead and click that, and you can join us, man, because you sound like a cool guy, man. We want to bring you on with us, man. But anyway, mine, I got all throw that back to you.
One of the best lessons that I listened to from GMS Dallas Reincarnated was on the topic of
What is?
hell. I can't remember when it was. It was long, and they kind of go through new channels, right? But the
Right,
guy said something really profound, and it stuck with me. I was a little earlier in the Bible thing. He's like, people can't come up to them and constantly call them evil, right? Oh, you guys hate speech, you know the deal, right? With the
right,
opposition. And then he's like, you guys call us evil when you think that God's going to take a soul inside of a body and burn it forever. And the whole crowd just stopped. It's like, it's so true. That's the amazing thing about the truth of the Bible. Whoever's saying it, God is logical. Like, how can God be declared righteous when he takes energy and burns it forever for a finite sin? He punishes it infinitely. Even our court systems here wouldn't do that. Doesn't make sense. So
right.
yeah,
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
like
And
just
and
not
these cats.
logical. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Which, yeah, we're gonna get into that and we're gonna cut that up real good. But we have a question coming in from the comment board. It's Orange Gorilla 33. He asked, "What are your guys' thoughts on Daniel chapter 12, verse 1 to verse 4?"
I got it pulled up. I can read it then if you want to give your
Yeah,
thoughts
that's
on it.
cool, man.
Yeah. Daniel 1 to 4, Daniel 12, 1 to 4. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall wake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. And but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Right, right. I'll jump in first and give my understanding. My understanding of the first part is what talking about what the time of tribulation, which we're coming into that time now. Just as it said, what knowledge should be increased. That's why me and my guy can talk, and we live what 1,000 miles plus away from each other, and that's a miracle right there. So knowledge was increased. But then an interesting part of that is, then it said what that some of those that sleep in the dust they shall awake, some to everlasting life, but some to everlasting despair and contempt, nearly paraphrasing it. Now,
Yep.
my understanding regarding that is that goes into reincarnation. As in my teaching, I'm not sure if mine God agrees, but when Christ returns, right, the wicked Israelites are going to be destroyed in the lake of fire, right, the second death. But in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be brought back to life again, and that would be the understanding. Some of those who rejected the gospel, they're going to awake in the kingdom to everlasting shame and contempt because they had a chance to get right and be a part of that righteous elect, but they shamefully, you know, did not accept that in their lifetime. So now they came back and have to suffer, mentally for that. Mine of God, what are your thoughts on that?
This is describing salvation, and so when it says here that thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found in the book, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall wake, some to everlasting life. So that's a group, the dead in Christ rising first, okay, and some to shame and everlasting contempt means that I believe they could either go into a body during the Great Tribulation period. Now they're allowed to go into a body, and then that's the maximum amount of evil that's going to be on the earth. So I believe during the Great Tribulation, all the evil spirits that are out of the body are then now assigned and allowed to go into the body, and so they're all in a body now. And then when they're destroyed, body and soul are going to be destroyed. So that time of the Great Tribulation is going to be the most evil time. All the evil spirits that are out of the body, or God is then assigning them to the body for their final judgment, and ultimately to be destroyed, body and soul. And so that kicks off the Great Tribulation period. But the first verse, 12 and 12:2, is talking about salvation for the elect.
Right, right. But anyway, going back to what we were saying, man, which matter of fact, what we leave off of, we were talking about the whole hell doctrine.
Yeah,
Um,
which is
but
actually in
yeah,
line with this verse, by the way, which is actually, I'm really glad. Orange Gorilla always seems to give us good verses because it's related to that. Because Daniel,
right,
whether you take ETT or my interpretation, it's all those judgments are happening here, physical, in the body, and all that. So,
right. That's we had to get that verse, man. What is that? Ecclesiastes, I believe it's what 3 and 15, right? That there was a place under the sun that judgment was there, or something like that.
yeah, I can pull that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Um, but yeah, hey, Orange Gorilla, that brother sounds like he knows a whole lot, man. So I want to bring him on one day. But also, I have a brother who sent me an email. He would consider himself to be a partial preterist, and he would like to have a discussion, with us. So he said in early August he'll try to do a show with us, man. But yeah, I think it would be a great discussion to have a preterist come on and we can challenge them on why we might see differently. I think that would be a fantastic discussion.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I hope that those people can get out of that because it's a bad time to be a preterist. It's a bad time to be a Bible non-literalist, in my opinion. Business is booming, man. If you're a Bible literalist, like
Right,
not
right.
money wise, but it's booming. I'll get Ecclesiastes 3 TT, and then we could talk about that if you want. But this is a good one too for the folks out there. Ecclesiastes 3:20, all go unto one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Verse 21, who knoweth the spirit of a man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? Question mark. Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion. Who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? So that's amazing. That this also supports hell and reincarnation. So yeah, it's all the Bible's amazing.
Right.
It's
Right,
absolutely
right. Now
amazing.
it's yeah, sorry to cut you off, man. But yeah, it's funny because if you read that, it says what the spirit of a man goes upwards, but the spirit of an animal goes downward. So that proves that there can't be a hell because wait a second, why are spirits of animals going downwards, but the spirit of all man, right? Whether you're good or wicked, and that's anybody disagrees, that's in Job the 3rd chapter, right there, the wicked they cease from troubling. They're the weary, they are at rest, which is what talking about the spiritual world. Because you see, Christianity got it all wrong. They think that if you're wicked, you're gonna die and go to hell. If you're good, you're gonna die and go to heaven. That's not true. Because the good and the wicked they all go to the same place after they die. Okay, we all rest together. Is sleep, say for an example, mind of God, can you go ahead and get John chapter 11 and verse 11?
Yeah. You know what? Also, one
Right.
quick point too about this, we can talk about this after if you want, is that verse 22 also supports reincarnation. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? So that we can come back to that. But John 11
Yeah, yeah,
11,
that's good.
John 11
Yeah,
11.
yeah, and I'm gonna bring this out to show what that it's given an example of a man who died, but he told Yahushua told the people that were there that he was sleeping, so they laughed. But then he told them what that he is dead. Right. So it's showing that sleep is synonymous with death.
Right. John 11 11. These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep.
Here, is there a couple more verses under that you can get?
Yeah, let me just pull up the whole thing. Um, Verse
Yeah,
12,
because the conference.
then
Go
then
ahead.
said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. So again, for people to understand that the people of the Bible, they're not stupid. They know that this is a judgment. So if you're out of the body, you're in the presence of God. And look at his disciples, he shall do well. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Verse 13, howbeit Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest and sleep. Then Jesus said unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. Verse
Right.
15, and I am
So
glad. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. Oh no, that's cool, man. Go ahead.
Verse 15, and I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go into unto him. So he's saying, like, it's actually good that he passed away, so you can see this miracle for yourself.
Right, right. But the reason I brought that up is going back to what we were saying about the, sleep to prove that when you pass away, it's just synonymous with when you sleep. And this clearly cuts the church because again, all you got to do for anybody that's skeptical or on the fence, we'll say, which that'll be a good stream to do in the future, man. What one called on the fence. I think that we'll have to do that another time. But yeah, you got a lot of guys out there, man, who are on the fence with this whole thing of ours. They're in a limbo between who do I follow? Do I follow Christianity, or do I follow, these people like mine of God, or these Hebrew Israelites? I mean, I don't know who to choose. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I think that that is hard to decide, and it takes some amount of discernment. I would say people that are genuine, just in general, they're not offended by when the Bible comes out. So when people come here, and I'm not trying to say that we're better than people, but if you get angry when we're just reading the Bible, that's not a good sign, just in general. So like we can sense that right away, and this is not a shot to anybody in particular, but that's not a good way to learn the truth. Okay, that's a bad sign. So whoever you choose to quote learn from everybody. I would say there's truth in everything because God created everything, the left and the right hand side.
Right.
Yeah,
Right, right. A lot of guys have, certain things that are true, but then they go off on some things. That's why you have to take the meat, but you got to leave the bones, right? So say for an example, Sakari goes off on certain teachings in the skip but you take the things which are good and you cast the things away which are not good. Say for another example, Great Millstone is correct on many things, but then there's certain things they say which are incorrect. So you got to take the meat and you got to leave the bones when it comes to, a lot of brothers out there, man. But hey, one thing that you can look at is look at the followers that these people have. A lot of, these guys who have a lot of followers, man, that should be a red flag because the scriptures speak about what? That the truth is going to be hated by many, that the truth is not
exactly.
going to be something that's popular. So these cats out here, they have a lot of viewers that subscribe to them and big fans of them. That's a red flag that they're not teaching the whole truth for the way it is. Now they might be saying certain things which are true, but then considering how many people they have following them, there's
Yeah.
clearly got to be something that's catching the attention of the average person out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I think people. ETT and I, we have our disagreements and our jabs back and forth, but I learn more from people when there's like just a few people watching and like it's not a show. Like those channels where there's like 30 or 40 or 100 people, they're like, oh, come to my channel because there's more viewers. I don't want to go to those channels because it's going to be about a theatrics. You can't learn anything or you can't teach anybody anything. So it's not for very many people, and I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. It's just a reality. Like we'll start bringing out the Bible, and then if the viewer count goes down, that I take that as a good sign. I'm like, okay, good. We're telling the truth. You know what I mean? So again, we're not
Right,
discouraging
right.
people from listening, but you know we're not programmed the way the world has programmed us. I got a good verse for you, ETT man, a really good
Go
one.
ahead.
Ecclesiastes 11:5. As thou knowest not what is the way of the spirit, know how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child. Even so, thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all. Man, it's amazing. How does God stitch a spirit in the womb? That's saying here in Ecclesiastes 11:5. No one knows.
Right, right. And that's the mystery of it all because say for an example, which I'm doing a future show, I believe it'd be in a couple days. It's called evolution versus creation. So I'm sure Mind of God would join me on that. But one of the things is dealing with a couple examples I would give to disprove the whole theory in the of itself is when you deal with science, right? The scientists will still tell you, and one thing they can't figure out is what part of the brain is responsible for consciousness. What part of the brain makes the person alive? Nobody can figure that out, right? So it's and another thing as well, right? When you deal with the whole evolution, which we can segue onto that for a few minutes, but um, oh, let me see real quick. But one thing with it is if all of this did evolve, right? Well, how the hell do you have the male and female, right? They're able to reproduce with one another. That is the one nail in the coffin, in my opinion, when you deal with evolution. That seems to be impossible to have that just magically appear. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, evolution it's absurd, like at this point with what we know, and obviously the flat stationary Earth, but just using common sense. That's crazy, and that just shows to me how incredibly powerful the deception is, because just to say that God exists, a lot of us know that God exists. We don't believe in God. We know that a God exists. Okay, we're waiting to see if it's the God of the Bible, but that's like offensive to people. When you say that, they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" Like that kind of thing. It just shows how deep the programming is for other people.
Right, right, absolutely. And the reason why we bring these certain things up is what when we go back to one of our favorites, right? Romans, the first chapter, it speaks about what the invisible things of the Most High are clearly seen, right? So the Most High
Right.
is invisible, right? But he clearly can be proven by the creation, right? It's like how the hell did there appear two organisms that are able to reproduce with one another to make another organism?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
clearly can't happen by itself, right? So the invisible things of the Most High are clearly, seen to us. Oh, and again, Orange Gorilla, man, I'll say it again. If you want to come on, man, with us, you're welcome to join, man, because we really do want to talk to you, man. But hey, if that's all right, if you don't want to come on today, man, I hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah, OG is cool, man. He gives good verses, that's always good. It's one of these things, man. It's like, I don't know how to describe it, man. It's like a truth buffet going on in the world right now, man. Like freaking Chipotle, moon pies, whatever you want to eat, man. It's like the truth is like it's like a buffet, and man. However people consume that food, do it, man, because it's literally like just falling from the sky. Like it's amazing, man. And then we don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
feel
man.
bad. A lot of people want us to feel bad because God exists. Sometimes even in our own Stockholm syndrome, we feel like, oh, we have to be a slave. We have to like pretend like we don't believe God exists and all that, and we have to fight that because that's stupid. Okay, that's
Right, right,
ridiculous.
absolutely, man. And yeah, sorry to cut you
That's
off,
it.
but yeah,
That's it.
man, dealing with say for example, this with YouTube, right? Hey, this is a damn all you can eat, right? This is all you can eat here. You
Right.
can literally sit there for literally days on end and watch countless videos, which now they're getting taken down. But I mean, for years you could literally sit there for weeks on end and never run out of things to watch, right? So
Agreed.
this is literally, hey, it's an all you can eat buffet right now, regarding to the truth and the amount of debates that are online that you can watch and be, gain education from. It's crazy, man. And that's our people don't want to do that, right? Our people would rather, play video games or,
Make a rap
watch,
album. Yeah, stupid
yeah, yeah,
shit.
other than watching, something that's deals with education, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. By the way, I got a couple points to mention. I emailed our friend Eric Dubay, so I'll keep you posted if he replies. He probably won't, but if I ever get an opportunity, even like for 10 minutes to talk to him, we'll see. Another thing I was going to ask you, dude, did you see that Ken Hovind video that I posted? This is it.
Yeah.
Can you believe ATT? Tell me if you think this is a coincidence. He said it at the 144 mark in his video. Do you think he's watching our videos and trolling us, or like why did he do that at the
Damn,
144 mark?
damn. Damn, man. I mean, hell, I don't know. I mean, maybe they might be watching.
Hovind, if you're out there, man, click the link, join us.
Yeah, yeah, man. Click that fresh link. Anyway,
SK,
man,
yeah, go
going
ahead.
back to the whole hell thing, man. Is there
Yeah.
any skip cheese you wanted to bring out to cut the the seminary, the cemetery schools
Yeah,
on their teaching?
here's the one that that you should leave people, just this is right from Yahushua Christ's mouth, okay? Matthew 10:28, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, okay? But rather fear him which is able to destroy both body and soul in hell. So hell has to be a place where those two things can be destroyed.
Right, right. Absolutely,
It
man.
cannot be a
Absolutely.
spiritual realm.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, man, these theological cemetery schools, man, and I know certain people. I know certain people that I know that are, part of my family
Yeah.
who subscribe to these schools, right? Think that they're on some type of level, right? They learned that the Vatican City is Mystery Babylon from the cemetery schools, is what they say.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing about it, man. It just shows how worthless that education is. Every time Ridge brings that up, I love that because he hates. It seems like Ridge especially hates that, being ordained and all that. And I like when he brings that
Right.
out because that's just a damn joke, man. Like, you go
Yeah.
pay money to be made stupid, basically. It's just crazy, man. It's sick, dude. That's what's
Hey,
going
hey, I
on.
mean, hell, man, hey, look, while they're on there spending all that type of money, I mean, hell, look, all you got to do is spend a week or two for free on YouTube with ETT or Mind of God or Great Millstone or any of these other, Israelite camps out here, and you're going to be on the level to combat anybody who've been studying, the theological seminary schools for years. You'll be on the level to cut them right to the bone, which Andrew Ashby is going to cut that up and say, well, see, that's some type of like threat, even though it's clearly being sarcastic. Go
Here's
ahead.
another. Here's another one. ATT 2 Samuel 22:6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. So, is this person in hell? This is an Israelite. So, righteous person. So they're not. They're not in the spirit realm. Sad or whatever. So, I mean, there's so many. I could read all of them. There's 54 references to hell, and they all support that hell is a physical place.
Right, right. And one thing that they bring up to prove that there's a place called hell, as they go to, what is that? Which we know the scripture, right? Bear with me a second, car
Yeah.
going by. Luke, the 16th chapter, right, dealing with Lazarus and the rich man, and they say, well, see, that's proof that there's a hell, because see, the rich man went to hell, but Lazarus, he went to heaven when they died.
Right. Yeah, we can get that
As
if
I
you
said,
want. I got that here.
um, yeah, yeah, that's cool, man. But yeah, there's so much, these cats are clearly going awful, man. Like the whole thing about they're on there saying that, oh well, if you ask them a question such as does God love everybody? Oh yeah, Jesus loves everybody. Jesus came, to
Jeez.
die for everybody. Jesus loves,
Hmm.
homosexuals. Jesus loves everybody. Yeah, and we got to talk about that after we deal with this whole hell thing, man.
Yeah, we're all gonna find out what Jesus, quote unquote, Jesus loves. For all of us, and I'm not saying I get a pass, but we're gonna find out, and I think a lot of people are gonna find out the hard way. So we're not trying to one up you people, man. Stop coming at us, okay? We're coming in peace. We're just reading the Bible and warning you that if this God is true, this God is not gonna forget what He said, right? That's we
Right.
should we don't forget what we said. We honor our word, right? For the most part, we try to.
Yeah.
So Luke 16:23, and in hell he lifted up his eyes. You're telling me a spirit has eyes? This is what Russian Vids mod was trying to convince me of, by the way. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. So come on, people. How is this prove that? So he's lifting up his eyes in heaven and he's looking up to what? The fourth heaven up there? What is there, like an eighth heaven up there? Come on. It's crazy, dude. Hell is a physical
Yeah, yeah.
place. It's what it is.
Absolutely, man. So, hey, look, ETT and the Mind of God hey, we literally gave a spiritual KO to the biblical seminary schools. They
Yeah.
clearly got spiritual KO. Now we got to deal with the whole teaching of Christ loves everybody, which is clearly incorrect. Now, I
Yeah.
want to start with this
Wait,
real
dude, can I
quick.
can I do one more story just because we're on the hell? Just one quick one.
Oh, go
Flex.
ahead. Go ahead, man. Go
Acts
ahead.
2:27, because thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer, which is allow thine Holy One to see corruption. Let me read this again. Because thou wilt not leave my soul in hell. These are righteous people in Acts. So I think we've proven it. Sorry, you can go ahead, man. My
Hey,
bad.
look, somebody call the ambulam, because these theological cemetery schools, they just got laid out cold. So somebody call the ambulam. These cats need immediate medical treatment. Inside
Yes.
joke. Anyway, I got a verse to bring up real quick, which I'm hoping my mic doesn't cut out on me because I'm going to move the app. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 24. And this is Yahushua speaking. It says, "But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Right. So Christ, or Yahushua, when he came on the earth, he came what? He came to the Israelites. Christ came to the children of Israel to grant
Yeah.
them salvation. He didn't come to anybody, right? Anybody who believes can be saved, right? It doesn't matter who you are, anybody can call upon Jesus. That's not true. And we're going to go into the text and we're going to deal with it, which we all know the one scripture off the top of our head. We don't even have to pull it up. One proof that they use, and I see this in every video, that when one of the when Sakari does a debate with the theological cemetery school students,
Yeah.
they always bring up, well, what about John 3:16? It says, so God so loved the world, right, that whosoever believes in him will not perish. And it's easy to deal with that. I mean, hell, I'm going to disprove that without even opening the text. All you got to do, me just so I don't butcher it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to quote one. If you go to Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 17, it's,
ETT, just so you know, it's cutting out, man. Yeah, we can't hear you.
hey, can you hear me now?
Now we can. We got you back. What's up? I'll read John 3, 15 to 17, until he comes back. John 3:15, for that's whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son,
All right, is that
that
better?
whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world might be saved through him. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God.
Are you able to hear me, man?
Yeah, now we can. What's up, dude? I just read
Okay.
John
Yeah.
3, 15 to 18 for the audience.
Right. Oh, can you pull up John chapter 17 and verse 9 for me? And while you're getting that, I want to quote this. One proof to show that the world where Christ was talking about wasn't referring to anybody, right? The entire world. If you go to Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 17, it says what? That Israel should become an everlasting world, a world without an end. So now we're understanding, going precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. That's how we understand the scriptures. But now we understand that the world that Christ came to was referring to the nation of Israel, not the entire world. And we know, going by, what is that? Second Ezra's chapter 6 and verse 56, it says what? The Lord likened the abundance of the people unto nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So the Lord don't care about the masses of people. Matter of fact, the scriptures say what? Let the masses of people perish. The Lord is only concerned with the elect, right? With the nation of Israel. But on this side, he's only concerned with his elect. Anyway, mine, I got, I'll throw the mic back to you.
Yeah, those are good ones. I'll read 2 Ezra 9:22, which is in line with what you're saying. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. That's 2 Ezra 9:22. Highly recommend people. Can't stress this enough. Get into 1st and 2nd Ezra. You will not regret it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And hey, look, ETT and Minagata are making the Christian church into a spiritual punching bag. right now. These cats, hey, look, these cats are getting cut 6 ways to Sunday with these scriptures. And I'll say it again. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Somebody got to call the ambulance because these guys are getting laid out cold. Anyway, I'll throw it back to you.
Well, the cool thing is you could watch any one of these live streams and then, you'll figure most of it out. And then the cool thing is the whole Bible will actually make sense once you realize it's for a small group of people. When we say it's for a small group of people, that doesn't mean it doesn't involve you who's listening, because Israel is spread across the entire earth, which is a judgment, actually, that God's people will be spread into all four corners of the earth and then recollected from all four corners of the earth. So we're not saying that it's just us or just this group out there and whatever. So, we don't know.
Right, right. And
But
yeah, and I just want to jump in and say absolutely, absolutely. And today, even though we know it is true that, the white population are the Edomites, however, going by, through time, Israelite men, they lay with women of the other nations, right? So the children over time will come out looking like the other nations, right? So we don't know who is who today. You're going to have Israelites that look like all nations of people today. Okay, so yes, it is true that the white man is Esau. However, that does not mean that all white people are Edomites. That's a lie, because you got guys out there teaching that. But we know that's not true because you have confusion of faith Israelites. And why? Because Israel was scattered throughout all the world today. Why? Because
right,
that fulfills the prophecy. Right. So we don't know who these people are today, but that's why we go by your spirit. Okay, that's why you can have guys who totally look like Edomites who might actually end up being Israelites. And that's why when you go, what is that? Daniel, the 12th chapter says what? That the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. Right. So if you can hear what we're teaching and you believe in this gospel, right? If you can sincerely believe that the Most High Yahweh has sent his son Yahweh Shai to die on the cross for the sins of Israel, well, then, hey, there's a good chance that you can be saved. If you can believe that, then, hey, then you're a brother then, right? It doesn't matter what you look like. If you can subscribe to that doctrine, then, hey, you're a brother. Matter of fact, mind of God, can you go ahead and bring up Matthew, the 13th chapter, dealing with the wheat and the tares? Right. And that's a parable going into to what? Going into the time that we're in now, because we don't know who is who. Okay. So you might have some who come into this thing who are brought up the wrong way,
yeah.
okay, and then it might end up being tares, but we don't know who those people are, right? But Christ will solve that when he returns. Anyway, I'll throw the mic over to you.
I got a good one. You want me to read the speckled bird one first, and then I'll read that?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's
Okay.
cool.
Jeremiah 12:9-11. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye assemble, all the beasts of the field come to devour. So that's worldwide. This beast system is worldwide. And so this is one of the many, many verses that prove that, God's people are in all nations, and then they're going to be tempted to be devoured by this beast. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. They have trodden my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness. They have made it desolate, and being desolate, it mourneth unto me. The whole land is made desolate, because no man layeth to heart. So, what was that? We're going straight to see with the wheat and the tares. Matthew, what now?
Yeah, that's in Matthew the 13th chapter.
Okay. I'll let you take this one. I'd probably break it down
Yeah,
differently. But yeah, the parable of the sower. Oh, sorry, no, the parable of the weed. Sorry, my bad. Do you want me to just read that part?
yeah, that's cool, man.
Okay. Yeah, Matthew 13:24. He put another parable before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. So when the plants came up and bore grain, then the weeds appeared also. And the servants of the master of the house came and said, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have weeds? He said to them, an enemy has done this. So the servant said to him, then do you want us to go and gather them? But he said, no, lest in gathering the weeds you root up the wheat along with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and at harvest time I will tell the reapers, gather the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. And that's real fire. Okay, we keep saying that to people, but just know that's real fire on earth.
Right, right, absolutely. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that, hey, we don't know who the hell is who today, right? So all we can do is go by the spirit, and at the end of the world, right, when Yahweh Shai returns, then who'll deal with that if there was any, tares among us. But the point of the text is what? We don't know who they are. So that's why it says what? Let them all grow up together,
Yeah.
and that when they're all, gathered, then it will cast away the wicked ones and keep the good ones. Right. So anyway, going back to what we're saying, man, these Christians, man, these guys are weak, man. Any Christian, and I never seen. I'll say this: I'd never seen a Christian who would be on a level to come up against me or you, dealing with the Bible, man. Because I mean, hell, the average Christian only knows one verse, and what is that verse? Right, John 3:16.
Yeah.
That's all they know.
Yeah.
Right. I'll throw the mic back to
I
you.
got a question for you, actually, man, and I'll ask it in line with what we're talking about. But prior to you, I don't want to say you've learned everything from the Hebrew Israelites, because we knew a lot prior to, YouTube time on our own. But like, were you always arguing with people, even as a youngster, about the Bible, or like, did you always have this spirit or whatever to like get more truth in your life?
Um, I'll say this. I've always been one who sought after the truth, and I've always been that way. And yeah, I've definitely engaged in many discussions, over my life, outside of online. But however, I will say this: there comes a point where it's sometimes worthless to argue with certain people because just off of what they believe and what they're saying, it just doesn't make sense to join in. Say, for an example, when I used to go out with my mother and her friends when they had dinner, right, they were all Seventh Day Adventists, and I knew the truth at that time, so right. So when I talk about Jesus this, Jesus that,
Yeah.
I tend not to say anything. You know why? Because the scriptures say what? A wise man would learn to hold his tongue. Right. So there's certain circumstances that come up where it might be wise to not say anything, right?
Yeah.
Not it might be wise to not sound smart given the circumstance, that's at hand in that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. I wish I learned that earlier, because I argued way too much, man. There's no
Oh, and I
point.
did too, man. I did too, but hey, I learned the hard way. Hey, and that's why I always make a statement and say what? That sometimes lessons in life they have to be learned the hard way, but hey, that's good though. We got to learn lessons the hard way so that
Yeah.
we know what not to do them again. And that's why when we were discovering when we were having our discussion a few days back, right, going over the whole law thing, the reason why they would publicly put people to death or stone them, right, for breaking the law, is that would be for the benefit of the other people. So they know what, I better not go out and do this myself, or I'm going to get punished the same way that this person got punished, right? So it
Right.
was there to put fear into it. In fact, I believe that was in what is it, Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter. It says what, that all they shall hear and fear, nearly paraphrasing the text. But right, that was all put out in public saying what, that you better not go do this, or we're going to make you an example as well. Okay, so use this as an example, just like Sodom and Gomorrah was used, the
Exactly.
Lord used it as the example for the people who come after, so they know, okay, well, we better not do this, or we're going to end up the same way, right? So I'll throw the mic back to you.
Yeah, and I want people to know Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't that big, but it also wasn't that small. And look at how he destroyed it for a few people. Okay, so I think people think it's about 1,000 or 1,500 people that live there, but he'll annihilate the place. Okay, for like one or two or three people. So just like, that's scary, but it's also comforting. For people out
Hey,
there who, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
oh, yes. Sorry to cut you off. And I just wanted to ask this. Did you hear and did you do any research onto the topic of did they found what's that? The Mount Sinai, right? The Lord's mountain over in Saudi Arabia. Have you ever looked into that?
But I have seen a video. I don't know if it was on Netflix, where people have, maybe it was on YouTube, where they isolated a place that there are things that don't grow, and they suspect that is Sodom, ancient Sodom. So it's not a joke. Like, I think you already know this. Maybe you have a video on your channel, but that's not a joke, people. That place existed, and it got burned by these so-called UFOs, which are not going to play around when they come. They're already here. You
Right.
can see them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Which I don't know if you looked into this, man, but when you get time, just go on YouTube and um look up Mount Sinai
Yeah.
found in Saudi Arabia, right? Did you ever do research on that one?
No, I think for me, I'm a bit naive to that, because I just assume that the Bible's true. But those things are good to look into.
Right,
But yeah,
right. Now
I should.
the reason why I bring that up is because if you look at it, right, there's a lot of stuff that convinces me. Like if you ask me, I do believe that they found it, and the reason why is there's
Yeah.
many reasons. Because this mountain is the only mountain in Saudi Arabia that the top of it is burnt, and that's in the text, right? That when the Lord descended on the mountain, the top got burnt, and then also
Hmm.
down there's 12 pillars, right? 12 stone, round stone pillars hieroglyphics, for lack of better words. I hope I pronounced the word correctly,
Yeah.
that have been etched into the stone. So with all of this, I can come to the conclusion, oh yeah, well, that must have been the site where this story took place. And as I said, man, look into it, man. I'm not
Hmm.
going to say, well, somebody has to teach that or they're not going to be saved. No, I'm not at all going to say that. But hey, man, I recommend you, look into it, man, because it's some very interesting information, such as I'll give another example.
Hmm.
I don't know if you looked into this, but they actually found, chariot wheels, in the Red Sea. Right. So
Wow.
why we look into those things is that gives the authenticity, to throw $1 million word out there, that shows the
Yeah.
authenticity of the text. Say for another example, they found a seal that has the prophet Isaiah's name on it. And again, everybody can look that up to validate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we said, doing certain research, it just gives the authenticity to the text. And another example,
Hmm.
the scriptures say that Noah's Ark came to rest on a mountain called Arat, and that's in Genesis the 9th chapter. But the interesting thing is, over in Turkey, on a mountain called Arat, right, Mount Arat, they found a massive boat structure that they say is about 5,000 years old. As I said, man, look into all this, man. It's some very fascinating information.
Hmm. Just the term Sodom itself for people, like if you go to any dictionary term, it's going to say, history and etymology of Sodom destroyed by God for its wickedness in the Bible. He's like, I'm on Merriam-Webster.com. So like, is Merriam-Webster wrong? Or whatever. It's like that term itself proves that the Bible has some, historical significance. And then that's why the Mystery Babylon debate is so easy, because if America's not Mystery Babylon, the Bible's not true. To me, it's like, how? Like, it's that, times a million now. So yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing. Like, what if I guess for people out there, I think everybody comes by here, we pretty much know the Bible's true. But like, what if the Bible's not true? Then where's the history? Like, where do we go to find out what people were doing and who made this? What other
Right,
book
right.
do we go?
Another, fascinating, way to look at it. I believe we spoke about this before, but there's a book out there which everybody can look this up. It's called um, Dead Man's Secrets. You can look that up on Amazon. I recommend everyone pick up a copy. But basically, it gives 1,000+ examples of these ancient stonework that should be impossible, for us to even replicate today. So it begs the question of,
Yeah.
well, wait a second, if we in our modern time with the advanced technology we have, how can we not replicate what they did thousands of years ago? And I'll give an example, right? The Egyptian pyramids. We have no idea how they did that. The Stonehenge, we don't know how they did that. Puma Punku, look that up. We don't know how they got such precise stonework done. Nobody can figure that out. So, as I said, man, it's really, amazing when you think about it, man, because there's definitely something that's being hid. And another thing as well,
Yeah.
they have, the crop circles. They've done they found things in the past where on the ground the stones were arranged and it would seem like, oh well, it's nothing. It just magically happened. But from the air, these stones actually resemble, say, spiders or, a bird or a person. So it's like it begs the question, where how the hell could these people arrange these stones in a way to make art that can only be viewed from the air? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So there's
Right.
so
Right.
much, that makes you think that these modern day schools, they won't be able to answer any of these questions. It's like, well, let's just hope nobody asked that question because we don't know the answer.
Yeah. I mean, the Bible is basically hate speech, in this generation, and it's like Now for us, we basically know that it's true, except for, you know, the last important bit. But yeah, it's just crazy, you know, like how backwards the whole society is, you know. It's like, even if it's not true, then why aren't we taught, you know, like why isn't it true, you know, like it's in a very, very important book. So just the fact that no one really touches it except for the few, the faithful, that's a sign that it's true. Not that you need that, but like, that's, yeah, I mean, it'd be scary if the Bible
Right.
wasn't true at this point. It would be horrifying, actually, if the Bible was not true. Because
Right.
what
Go
would we
go ahead.
have? What would we have to explain what's going now, which we all know, the thing? What would we have to explain all the archaeological things that ETT is bringing out? What would we have to explain, first of all, who created this whole thing? I don't know. Like, who do we left? We got nothing, really. It's scary.
Right, right. Absolutely, man. But as I said, this shows that they're hiding something because when you deal with the whole thing about the giant skeletons, man, I mean, they found skeletons that they've dug up that are about some of them are like 9 feet tall to 15, 16 feet tall. So it begs the question, well, wait a second, why are these not put on display for people to see? And the answer is why? Because if evolution is true, well, they cannot account for, well, how did you have people who were 15 feet tall if man evolved over time from ape? So that shows that there had to have been a time where man was clearly far more advanced than what they want the population to know. And that also lines up with the text because the scriptures speak about there being, big, human beings, that were around back then, right?
Yeah.
And that goes in what is it, Genesis the 6th chapter. So it just shows you, man, that there's clearly only a damn fool could pretend that there's not something fishy going on here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Probably 7 feet was like somebody short, you know, like in that time. It's like, dude, what's wrong with you, man? Like, why are you so short? You know, and like now 7 feet is like, you know, you're in the NBA kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, man. Which I've seen a couple people who were 7 feet tall before. It's rare to see them, but they're out there. Say for an example, you have something called gigantism, right? You might know about that.
Yeah.
But basically the part of the brain that tells it when to stop growing, for them it doesn't shut off. So you have certain people alive today who are 8.5 feet tall. Matter of fact, you can even look up pictures of those people online or video of them walking around. Those people are real, right? But back then, we're talking about, a few 100 years ago, right? 500, 600 years ago, 1,000 years ago, you had some people who were 15 feet tall. So it
Yeah.
just shows you that there had to have been something that's going on that they don't want, us to know about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole human body, and we brought out that verse in Esdras that Esdras is being told, look at the state of man and how it's being weaker, how it's become weak, and then that's one of the many signs that, you know, you're in the end times. And so, and the body's so frail, you know, that's why the medical system is so profitable, because we're dependent on it for everything. It's sad, but I like that you
Right.
pinned that
Absolutely.
comment, by the way. Apostle Tahar. Shout out to Har, man. He's probably watching. He watches all of our videos.
Hey, Tahar, if you're watching, man, well, hey, of course, the sincere shalom, and hey, much respect from, ETT. All right, much respect is most
Click that
certainly
link,
due.
man. Join. I asked him for a
Hey, but
dialogue. I
Tahar,
asked him for a dialogue once, by the way. We went back and forth on the comment board. All he said was, watch more of my videos. And I'm like, dude, I don't need to watch your videos, man. I was like, let's get into it, you know. But he didn't want any part of Team Log. Fair enough.
but yeah, man, Tahar knows who I am. He knows who I am. We go back a couple of years. He was like, I remember, man, I want to say 4 years ago, I made a statement on his page, and I said, hey, look, today I made 20 videos, and I uploaded 8, and he was on there like, damn, this guy, ETT, which I went by a different name back then, but he was like, oh yeah, you got to use this brother as an example, knowing how all you brothers got to be. It's like, damn, 20 videos uploaded,
Yeah.
8, I mean, damn, that's way more than 3 videos a day. And that's when back then they had to put up 3 videos a week.
Yeah. I got to do an impression for you, man. Tell me who I am. ETT. Am I a Levitical priest? Yes or no? Who
Hey,
am
you're
I?
that's damn a priest Alizon.
What a clown, dude! Oh my god, that made me laugh when he said that, dude.
Hey, hey, but
That whole
you
debate,
see
I
how
was
like
laughing the whole time. It was funny and entertaining and educational. Oh my god.
absolutely, absolutely. And hey, look, I only gave out 5% of my power on that show because remember the whole time I didn't even have the text in front of me. I
Yeah,
was just going off of the top of the head. And it's funny because it looked like they would one up me, but it's like when I go to respond, they won't even let you respond. It's like they tell me what's this mean? And then I tried to explain it, but then in the mid sentence they'll cut me off and tell me why it's not true. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you
It's
become an
ridiculous.
adult at 20. That doesn't make sense. I got to look into it, but that's older than what we have now. I don't know if that was their argument, but there's no way it's 20 years old. I don't think, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Now
that seems
let me
weird.
say this. One thing I brought up to them, and this is why we have to understand. The scriptures say, "Well, with all you're getting, get understanding."
Yeah,
So I brought this up. They use Numbers 1 to say it says what that if you're under 20, you would not be counted into office to go to war. So they said, "Well, see, that means that you weren't a man till you're 20," and we discussed that. Now I asked them this. Okay, so they can use Numbers 1 and say, "Well, it says that you can't go to war till you're 20." Now to understand. Why did it say that? Was it because you weren't a man if you're not 20? No, because the people under 20, they needed time to advance in their skills. Now, I asked them this. If
yeah,
that's the case, why is it if I go to Numbers chapter 8, it says what? That you can't work in the priesthood until you're 25 years old. So by logical deduction, does this now mean that you're not a man till you're 25? Of course not. It just the Lord set up that number because you would need a certain level of expertise or of knowledge in order to engage in that level of priesthood, right? So it doesn't mean that you ain't a man till you're 25, because again, if you're going to say according to Numbers 1, it says, well, see, you can't do this till your 20s. So that means you ain't a man till you're 20. It's like, okay, well, Numbers 8 says you can't do something till you're 25. So does that now mean you ain't a man till you're 25? Of course not. But you see, they
yeah.
couldn't really answer.
It's probably 20 or 25 because the person should be allowed to start a family so they have a heritage. Again, I don't know this. This is off the top of my head, but they probably make it a bit older so the man can actually start a family, and then in case they lose their life in battle, they have like offspring. I don't know though, but again, like I just wanted to do that impersonation because I've been working on it all day and I got this chance. So
Yeah, yeah, man, I hear you. Here, let me just respond to a comment real quick. You can talk for a moment.
yeah. Well, what we were discussing here, cemetery schools, they basically got buried. Um, I don't even know what. It's kind of scary, actually. I would say for people who are in those schools now, because what's the point when you can just go on YouTube and like learn everything on your own? So I don't see the like if this thing were to continue, which I don't think that it will for much longer. No one would need to go to a cemetery school, which we're saying cemetery, but it's seminary, because you can just learn everything on the internet now on YouTube. And I mean, you could just read the
Right.
Bible on your own and just take a lot of it literally, unless there's a reason to not take it literally. It's simple.
Right, right. And you can come here and learn from, ETT, Mind of God, Great Millstone Sakara. You can learn from us for free. All you have to do is have access to the internet and you can learn for free. Right. We're not on here, trying to take your money. Well, I mean Sakari's on there trying to take your money. But we're me and Mind of God, we're not out here trying to take your money. Right. We're giving this out for free. Right. I've been putting this out for free. I haven't made a damn dime off of anything that I've ever put out there. But yet my guy, what's that cat? What's that cat? Rock upon him. He was telling me, oh yeah, man, I make $100 every week off of just putting up a video and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
I got a funny story for you, man. This is hilarious, dude. Our good friend, Good Servant, back when he was starting his channel, I remember he was talking, and I listened to one of his quote unquote streams or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, Tom and I decided, we're not going to charge for this." And I'm thinking, like, charge for what? What the hell are you? What the hell do you guys teach? Like, it's just garbage. And so I just thought that was so funny that like Good Servant in his mind was debating whether he should monetize his channel, and I'm like, what are you monetizing? Kind of thing. But anyway, shout out Good Servant, man.
Hey, we got let me see real quick. We got Luke in the chat. Hey Luke, I'm gonna put a link in here, man. Why don't you come on with us? Which I'm not gonna go for too much longer. I might go and round it out at. We'll see. Well, I'll go a little longer. Oh, he said I'm on my work break. Hey, man, if you want to come on, the link's there, man. But if not, then that's all cool. Thanks for stopping by. Um, but yeah, mind of God, as I said, man, hey, look, me, ETT, and mind of God, we literally. So as I said, somebody called the ambulance because the Christian church just got laid out cold.
You know what? I think between you and I, we maybe have only like 3 to 5 differences in what we disagree on. It's not. It's a lot for us personally, but it's there are a lot that we agree on. I overlap, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. As I said, man, we're cool with each other. We're not going to be on there like, that coon that joined earlier, or good servant, and say, well, these guys don't agree with me, so that means that they don't like me or something like that. It's like, no,
No.
we'll keep it cool with one another. And hey, look, me and mine God, we don't see eye to eye on everything that we're teaching, but hey, we learn to keep it cool with one another, right? We would consider ourselves to be friends. Well, frenemies, inside joke.
Well, here's the difference I would say, but with you and I, as opposed to some of these bigger groups, is that we genuinely don't. I don't want to be wrong. That's why I interact with people like ETT, and really, there's not many people on this earth that know the Bible. And we're not trying to say this to brag, but like, there's not many people to go and talk to. It's like if you're interested in like quantum physics, there's only like I don't know, like 10 people that you can go talk to. So I don't want to be wrong. That's why I come on these and try and go back and forth and maybe learn something new. But but we do have differences that are important, but we do have, I would say, maybe 65-70% agreement, which is a lot. So a lot of people don't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
know a lot of people
absolutely.
don't even know what we're talking about. So like that how can we go and talk to those people? So
Right. Absolutely, absolutely, man. But as I said, hey, look, it's so easy to stump a Christian, man, because all you got to do is ask him, like what we did with Brother Good Servant, which as I said, we don't hate Brother Good Servant. As I say, he's invited to come on the show anytime, and we'll be kind and peaceful with him. That's cool. If he wants to come on, then hey, man, you're welcome. We'll welcome you with wide open arms to have a civilized discussion with us. And that goes for any brother out there who disagrees on any subject in the scriptures. You're welcome to come on,
yeah,
and we can have
exactly.
a civilized discussion, just like they do on the Sakari show, which sometimes it gets heated on there, but they invite you on to have a civil discussion. And unlike them, we'll actually fulfill our statement. You know what I'm saying? Let me just hit the comments real quick.
Yeah.
Um, let's
Sakari's
see.
not bad though. I give them credit, even though I don't agree with a lot of the things, but they're actually pretty civil. I would call back if I genuinely had a question for them, but you know, but yeah, I mean, we're not like that. Like we don't have a big following or like money involved, or we don't want to be wrong. We don't want you to be wrong. And it's like if you have a thing that you could teach us, come teach us. It's not
Right.
people confuse confidence and study with arrogance. It's like, no, dude, if you go to Tiger Woods and ask him for golf swing tips, like, is it arrogant if he teaches you how to swing properly? No, he's Tiger Woods. Okay, he spent hours, decades crafting that swing. So
Right.
like that's the same thing with us. We're not into sports, well, whatever. So you get my point.
Yeah.
We're into the Bible.
Let's see. Luke put up a comment and said the church in Australia bows down to the government, and that's what these churches do. They sign the what is it, the 501(c)(3), which with the government, which basically means that they're tax exempt,
Yeah.
but they're limited on what they get to teach, and that shows that these cats they all sold out. They all sold out, and they're just taking that bag instead of teaching the people the truth.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing, man, because Australia, for some reason, they're loaded with even more sheep. Not the person in the chat, but from what I see in the videos, like Australia, they're doing whatever the hell they want over there. Like I feel bad for them, but they're just bending over for it. It's bad, dude.
Yeah, yeah, man.
That's the cool thing about
Go
the
ahead.
Bible, by the way, ETT. This is why we're trying to help people, okay? The Bible is the truth, the word of God, right? And the Bible says the truth will set you free. So, okay, maybe we still have to live under these, evil rules, but the Bible actually offers people freedom. So when we try and teach people the Bible, and we're not doing it for money, and people don't want it. Me and ETT, we wonder why. It's like it'll allow you to be at least mentally free. So that's strange.
Right. Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But as I said, man, it's crazy what we see going on in the world right now. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, this is it. I love that saying, man. That's freaking brother Ken
Hey,
Hovind is copying our flow, man. Your flow. He should pay you for that. And brother Ronnie, you know what I mean?
right. Hey, look, man. As I said, I know you don't want to see that video, man, but hey, look, this is how it went. Now he was on there, he was streaming on Facebook, man, and he was on the phone with his girlfriend, and she was saying, "Oh, I'm staying at my new boyfriend's house," and he was like, "Oh, so that's where you're gonna be?" So he hung the phone up, and he was like, "All right, guys,
Wow.
this is it." And
So
then
he
two
did it for a
seconds later,
girl. That's
yeah,
even more
it was
pathetic.
it was two things. It was two things. He recently broke up with his girlfriend, and then he also lost his job. So it was two things.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, man, it was crazy. It was crazy, man. This is exactly how it went. He hung up the phone. He was like, "All right, guys, this is it." And then 2 seconds later, bro, his head split like a damn watermelon, man. And I'm not even trying to be damn, what's the word I'm looking
Exaggerate.
for?
You're not exaggerating.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's oh man,
It's sad, man. Like again, like we're not laughing at him because that sucks, But the thing that for what I want people to understand is to keep bringing it back to the Bible. If you have the truth of the Bible, you wouldn't. You may, I'm not saying the Bible makes you like perfect or whatever, but you won't care about what a woman says. You won't do that. And if you lose your job, I'm not saying that that's not important, but the truth will define you, once you know the truth. And so that's why it's important to know the truth. You'll be less swayed. It's not like we're perfect and we're not swayed by the world at all, but you won't go to those extremes once you know what's going on. So, like that verse that
right?
ETC just pinned, John 8:32.
Yeah, yeah. I'll read. It says, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Now, what does that mean? Well, we're all still in servitude, where we're mentally set free.
Right.
Anyway, mind again, I'm gonna have to get going in like 5 minutes here. So,
Yeah.
anything you want to say to wrap the show up?
No, that's cool, man. It was a good one. I'll mirror this one because I think we did some good edification here. In the cemetery schools, man, may they rest in peace and never be raised up again. So enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. Hey, well, thanks for stopping by, man. I'm sorry I didn't go as long tonight, but I was. It's a little hot out tonight.
No, that's cool. Good chatting, man. We'll talk soon, probably. Peace.
All right, see you later, man.
Yeah.
All right, bear with me a moment. All right, I'm gonna wrap the show up. But just for my OCD, I'll let it play out to an hour and 30 minutes on the dot, just because of my OCD. Awaken Pennsylvania. Hey, man, sorry you couldn't join the show tonight, man. But hey, there's always tomorrow. Okay, so just make sure you have that notification on. And yeah, man, maybe tomorrow you can, join us, man. But hey, I'm happy you enjoyed the show, right? Oh, just like what's that cat? Just like the conspiracy music guru says at the end of his videos, he's like, "Welp," it's like, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show, right? That's gonna be the end of the show here, right? If anybody made it this far into the video, let's see, put hashtag stream in the comment section down below. Oh, look at that. A damn ambulam just passed me. That must be going to the damn, Christian church down the street. Inside joke. But anyway, man, it's like, damn, hey, look, ETT in the mind of God, we clearly we were handing out spiritual KOs left and right, man. I mean, this is, hey, look, if you're still not convinced, right, as what's that cat? Just like, top 15 says at the end of his videos, he's like, if you're still not convinced, right? Hey, look, if you're still not convinced, man, that Christianity is clearly going off, man. But hey, you gotta check yourself, man. Okay, if you're still not convinced, inside joke. Um, but yeah, that's going to be the show. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Of course, tune in tomorrow night, probably around 6 or 7 p.m., which of course our times are different depending on where we're living. But hey, just put on your notification bell. Pennsylvania Ass is still doing that weekend stream. Yes, on the 31st, I'm still doing that show, just as we arranged. As I said, I'll send you a message the night before to make sure you're going to show up. And I'm also going to try to bring other people from our online chat as well. But yeah, man, we're still on for that day. We're still on. Okay. Um, anyway, I'm going to end the show with that, and I'm going to say shalom.